Hey guys, it's me again, and today we're talking about Season 3, Episode 2 of Into the Badlands. So let's dive right in. So in this episode, we get to see Nathaniel Moon, Silver Moon, whatever you want to call him. We see him a little bit more. He's got a new nice little hand, so he doesn't have to worry about fighting everybody with one hand. The widow hooked him up with some metal mimic, is what she calls it, because her guy makes the best mimics in the Badlands. So he can shoot blades out of it and stuff, and we immediately get to see him use it in action against MK, who's opiumed out and is having withdrawals and would love nothing more than to leave the widow's comfort and protection. But the widow wants to keep him around until he gets his powers back, so they're still focusing on that. The widow actually sends Silver Moon or Nathaniel out to find the Iron Rabbit and her crew, or their crew. The widow still doesn't know it's Tilda just yet, but it seems like she's got a pretty good idea of who it might be. So we actually get to a point where Moon arrives at Lydia's camp, and as you know, Sunny, Baji, and Tilda have all either been at that camp or are still at that camp, and we find out pretty quickly they are still at the camp with Sunny's kid Henry, and they're trying to figure out what to do about Henry and his obvious powers that he has. So they're getting ready to go see the witch, who we met in episode 1 of season 3 or 2. Oh, what season is this? 3? Yeah, we'll get it right eventually. But we find out that Henry has those powers in the first episode, so now they're going to meet up with the witch, who was one of Baji's trainers. It starts to seem like Baji has this dynamic where he used to be the pilgrim, basically, and he worked with the witch, and she told him he was the chosen one until she didn't need him anymore. So we're starting to see this weird dynamic of people being used because of their abilities, which isn't uncommon like today's world. But from there, we actually get a situation where Silver Moon, or whatever, Nathaniel, shows up to Lydia's camp, and Sunny and Baji both see him, and Tilda's like, who is that? And Baji's like, it's obviously your replacement based on his clothing. So there's a lot going on there, because Sunny was just about to kill Tilda, but he stopped because Baji saved her, because she saved him. And it's just a lot going on, but they end up hiding from Moon until Lydia's like, look, I want you to believe me, so why don't I just go speak to the widow directly? And she makes her way on over to the widow, which is where we get things getting a little bit more. I mean, at this point, Quinn may as well still be on the show, because there's so many people backstabbing each other for no apparent reason. The widow offers Lydia an opportunity to move back into her own fort and not be a baroness, but to be something else. I forget the word she used, but it isn't a baroness. So Lydia accepts. She tries to warn Tilda. Yeah, she tries to warn Tilda before leaving, don't follow me, don't fight. Just let it go and get to safety from there. And she leaves Sunny's kid with him, with Tilda, and Tilda gives it back to Sunny. And then we get a chance to really see what the Pilgrim's capable of. They arrive at their destination, which we find out is what Baji was doing at the end of season 2, sending out that message. It was actually to them. They got the message, they arrive at the location it sent them to, and he's not there because he waited 6 months. But when they arrive, a lot of their followers start to act like jerks towards the Pilgrim and the witch. So the Pilgrim says, you know, this is my fault. It's all my fault. And obviously I need to reprove to you what's going on. So he kicks some major ass. But the one thing I had a problem with, and they do this in shows, when somebody gets a chance to talk, they're either going to be there for a while or something dramatic is going to happen to them because of the way things are set up in the acting industry. If you're speaking on camera on a syndicated network or something like that, then you have to be a part of, what is it? I forget the name of it. I want to say AFTRA, but that's the website where I watch movies. But you have to be at SAG. You have to be a part of SAG, Screen Actors Guild. So if you're speaking on camera, you're important, and they don't just use throwaway lines. Every line is supposed to mean something, and it's supposed to be worth something. So there's not a lot of throwaway lines. When someone speaks on camera, then it means they're going to be used later on, or they're about to have a dramatic death. Case in point, the guy who calls the Pilgrim out and says that, you know, we're tired of this. This isn't what we were promised. This is a tomb and all that stuff. He's talking all this trash. He lets 3 other people die without saying a word. They get their grunts in, and they're obviously guys who probably do stunt work on the show, and it's fine. It's totally fine. It just frustrates me that he's the one who gets to live, even though he was the one who stirred the pot, and then backed up and was like, oh no, I have faith. I have faith. I believe. I believe. You didn't believe before until you saw these dudes get killed. So why couldn't you be the one to get sacrificed so everybody else can reaffirm their belief? So I was a little frustrated about that. But we did get a chance to see the Pilgrim actually put in some work and fight. And boy, did he put on a show. He blindfolded himself. And it's ironic because I've just watched some YouTube videos about how Stevie Wonder apparently is not blind. And they're old videos, so I didn't know how this slipped by and I didn't hear about this. But it makes some good points. And then to see this dude take out 3 armed guys with no eyes, it just was like, well, maybe Stevie Wonder isn't blind? Or maybe, I don't know. But it was just funny to see him take these dudes out with a blindfold on, showing that you don't mess with the Pilgrim, even if he doesn't bring the black-eyed people on you with the gifts. He has his own abilities, and maybe that's why he put on the blindfold, so that he could use his gift without being seen. So, it was pretty cool. He went hard in the paint, as they say on those guys. And he did a great job. It was a nice fight scene, one of the few fight scenes, if not... Yeah, one of the 2 fight scenes. You get Silver Moon fighting MK at the beginning, which there was really nothing at stake there. And then you get the Pilgrim displaying his powers and everything. So this is kind of a, I don't want to call it a filler episode, but it's one of those episodes that kind of gives you more character development than anything. And I watched this show for the fighting and a little bit of the story. Fighting, story. And they did story fighting on this episode, which is cool. It's nice to get to know the characters a little bit better. And then we jump back to the Widow, who's not in a lot of this episode. She's more of the chess player right now, moving all the pieces around, getting everything in order for the war she's fighting against Chow, who dresses all her people in white. And it's called the Badlands, and there's not a lot of whole showering and changing clothes going on. So why would you dress them in all white? Doesn't make a lot of sense. But the Widow's preparing to continue that ongoing battle. And before we get back to the Widow's camp, Pilgrim and the Witch are having a discussion about their 2 gifted people with the black eyes, and we find out that one of them, the guy actually, is dying slowly, and he's starting to get those green veins. His varicose veins are hurting. They're going all across his face, and he's getting weaker. And that's when the witch states, black-eyed ones don't live very long. So we have to start to gauge how long MK might live at this point, because they seem about the same age, but it also seems like the more you use your gift, the weaker you become over time. So jumping to the Widow's camp, like I said, she offered Lydia the opportunity to move all her people back to the fort and protect them there if she gave up the Iron Rabbits. You don't know for sure if she's going to do that in this episode, but we do see MK swindle with his good looks. One of the Widow's subordinates, females, he gets them to bring him his opium back, and she's like, if the Widow finds out about this, then... And he's like, don't worry, she's not going to find out. And then, of course, he ODs, and the Widow finds out, which is crazy. But during his overdose, he actually meets up with himself, the black-eyed version of him, and he gets called a little bitch and all this stuff. And the 2 punches that the black-eyed dude threw were kind of weak, because MK was like, but I guess it was just to knock some sense into him, because he then had this vision, and he actually saw who killed his mom. And that's where we get the big reveal. It's all raining, and he's standing there in front of his mom, and his mom's like, MK, I told you to run away. Quinn and his men are here killing everyone. And as soon as she says that, I'm like, dang, it was Sonny. There's no question about it at that point. Why would they say anything about Quinn's men unless it's going to be Sonny? And sure enough, stabbed through the sternum, heart, all of that done. And she's like, Brian. And then she drops to the floor, and 100% it's Sonny standing there doing his job. And I've seen so many different movies and different historical events where people were just doing their job, and that doesn't give you the right to go around killing people's mamas. So obviously at this point, I've seen a preview where MK's got on some weird outfit and he's running towards someone, and you never see who he's running towards. I think that's pretty clear that that's the first time he sees Sonny this season. He sees him and he's not running towards him in happiness. He is pissed because he's had this vision that Sonny killed his mom. Not sure if it's accurate, we don't know that yet, but probably is, and something's going to happen to where MK's put in a weird position with Sonny's son, I bet. But that leads to MK at the end of the dream getting his gift back, I believe, because he's still OD'd at this point and laying there lightly breathing. Which, another funny thing, the Widow runs in and she's like, is he alive? Or no, she said, is he breathing? And the chick says, I can't wake him up. That doesn't answer the question. Is he breathing? Yes or no? I can't wake him up. Okay, again, but is he breathing? So that was just weird to me. Weird dialogue there. Like I said, MK gets his gift back, and the big reveal is that Sunny killed MK's mom. So all in all, this episode is pretty cool. It actually ends with us going back to the witch and the pilgrim, and the witch is asking the pilgrim to trust her. I know your people have lost faith in you, but please have faith in me. And sure enough, she says that we're going to do this sacrifice. And I didn't know. I thought they were going to kill one of the two dark-eyed people or something. But she has him stab her in the back in 2 places on the shoulder blades, and then put these hooks in there, and then pull her in the air. He hoists her up like she's got wings or something, man. It was weird. I mean, I watch stuff like Saw and body horror, body gore, all that stuff, but it was just weird to see it on Into the Badlands. So kind of changes the rules of what they may or may not show on the show. There's been a lot of blood, so I'm not saying that was the thing. It was just the fact that he stabbed her twice and then stuck the hook in there. It was like, man. And then he hoisted her up and was like, what do you see? And then she said the typical generic line, I see everything. Which made him raise his eyes like, oh, this is it. I'm like, nah, man. She's just goading you on again. You just stabbed her in the back and she is dying at this point. She'll say whatever she needs to. So it was pretty cool. I'm excited for episode 3. The show, like I said, is taking off. It's pretty cool. I like where they're going with everything, and I'm really excited for it to continue. So please drop a like, leave your comments below. I love discussing Into the Badlands with you guys. Any feedback we can get is definitely always helpful, and be on the lookout for other videos. Like and subscribe. Until next time.